It's not often I get stopped on the street when I'm reviewing a vehicle, but the 2025 Toyota 4Runner had people gawking. From a rugged outdoorsman to a mom in the neighborhood, everyone's got their eye on this four-wheel drive hybrid SUV.
So what's it like to drive? What is it ideal for? Is it comfortable, fast, and what's the passenger experience like? Plus, what can you fit inside it, and can you lead the way on a family vacation? I got a chance to spend a week in this vehicle to find out. I'll wrap things up with both the pros and the cons, and I'll let you know if I think I can recommend this luxury electric SUV to you. A quick word about how I'm going to do this review. I'm not going to get too deep into specs, and if you want 0 to 60 speed tests, you're not going to find that here, partly because that's the stuff you can get from Toyota's website. I'm approaching this review as an average car shopper, someone who's interested in a comfortable but fun ride, how the main features work, and what it feels like to drive. So in a nutshell, this is going to be a car review for real people by a real person.
And lastly, since this vehicle was on loan to me for this review, I was asked not to take it off-road, so my testing is going to be limited to street and highway driving with very limited gravel road campground excursions. Let's get to this. Starting on the outside, the 2025 Toyota 4Runner seems to me to be a departure from previous generations design-wise. This one is curvy and, dare I say, sexy, while maintaining that kind of square and boxy look that's defined the series. In fact, the 4Runner looks a lot like the Tacoma from the front. Compared to older models, the hood is slightly higher, which gives the driver better visibility. Toyota also added the power rear window here, and even the most affordable hybrid model features 18-inch off-road wheels with a ground clearance of about 9 inches. Pricier trims go up from there.
I'm driving the Platinum Edition here, and Toyota says the supersonic red on the outside is a premium color.
The Platinum Edition here also includes a handy trailer braking controller system, as well as a 14-inch panoramic multimedia screen in the front. There's a few other goodies as part of the Platinum package, including heated front and second row seats and the heads-up display. While both hybrid and non-hybrid configurations here offer the same engine, the hybrid version does include a 48 horsepower electric motor and a battery pack.
Like other hybrid vehicles that use a self-charging hybrid system, the battery can switch to battery operation, or the vehicle can switch to battery operation when you're stopped or driving at low speeds, kind of just puttering around the city. Now that should translate to better fuel economy overall. The hybrid version of this vehicle offers around 23 miles per gallon when you're driving around the city, and the gas version here tops out at about 20 miles per gallon. If the efficiency differences don't astonish you, that's not a shock. That's probably because the 4Runner hybrid seems to focus more on power than efficiency.
The extra torque helps a lot when climbing hills, and particularly when I was pulling my vintage camper trailer. Driving highway speeds will feel like driving the gas version, since the 2025 4Runner hybrid uses the same engine and the electric motor doesn't play much of a role at highway speeds. In fact, the fuel economy on the freeway is actually slightly worse than the gas version. You get 23 miles per gallon on the hybrid versus 25 miles per gallon for gas, and that is because of the hybrid's added weight. I drove it approximately 320 kilometers to camp at Alberta's Pigeon Lake. Towing my light vintage trailer, the 4Runner ate almost an entire tank of gas on that trip, and the same coming home. The fuel bill here in Alberta was about $73 each way, for a total of just under $150 round trip, if that helps you understand what to expect, at least for towing. With regular driving and no tow, I got quite close to the stated mileage.
So if you do a combination of city and highway driving, you might not feel the efficiency side of the equation. Now that being said, the electric motor can help extend the overall lifespan of your engine, since the engine has the ability to switch itself off when that electric motor kicks in.
Let's take a look inside. The added battery in the rear of the hybrid here didn't just add weight to the 4Runner, it also made it impossible for Toyota to add a third row.
The cargo floor of the hybrid version, I'm told, is significantly higher than the gas-only version, and that does eat into the cargo space.
The gas version has 48 cubic feet of storage compared to 42 for my hybrid. Folding down the second row seats can increase the cargo space by a lot. The gas version jumps up to 90 cubic feet while the hybrid maxes out at 82. Even so, I found the back cargo area pretty roomy, and it left us plenty of gear storage space on our camping trip.
I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of what the cargo area looks like and how you put the seats down. You've got levers down here along the side that, when you pull it, will flip the seat right up. So very convenient, gives you some space back here. Let's go and take a look though at what happens to the cargo area with all of that space down. So you can see when I put this other seat down as well, same way, also flips up But what you've got then is kind of a flat area and then a giant divot or a big hole in the back. Now you can flatten these down by putting them back down there, and I'll see if I can reach here. But then what you've got is kind of a stepped configuration where you don't have a completely flat area. So while this does give you quite a bit of space to transport whatever you've got to, if you're trying to move furniture, you are going to have to be aware of this step.
I found a surprising amount of premium comforts, including heated and ventilated front seats, as well as an 8-way power adjustment for both the driver and the passenger. I love this, and switching up driving with husband Roger lets us both get comfy no matter where we're sitting. The driver's side also features a large, bright, and colorful and customizable 12-inch digital gauge cluster. Toyota actually did a really good job at keeping this simple and easy to read while also putting a lot of info right in front of you.
If you aren't the biggest fan of touchscreen interfaces, which I'm learning in a car I am absolutely not, the 4Runner's driver's area here is going to spoil you with all sorts of physical controls, including knobs, levers, and buttons of all kinds.
Adjusting heat and cool, you get silver levers, and while I like the ease of use here, I will call out that I found the vents around the cockpit, both driver and passenger, to be a bit ill-placed. It was tough to get air right where you need it. There are knobs for other changes too, like switching up your driving mode. You can try out different preset configurations, including comfort, sport mode for more speed, and eco mode to save on fuel and energy. Mercifully, the shifter doesn't reinvent the wheel. You're getting a traditional, if boxy, gear lever, and I gotta say, I loved it. Fussing with virtual shifters is an exercise in frustration, if you ask me. When it comes to device charging, all hybrid trims feature a wireless charger, and I've got to say this is the best positioning I have ever seen on a wireless Qi charger in a car. It is right beside the driver and angled backwards so you can prop your phone up and still see your navigation if you need to. If you need different options for charging, there are 2 additional USB-C ports on the front, no older USB-A here. Both the driver and the passenger get perforated storage cubbies in the door, as well as bottle and can holders. There's also cubby holes and storage slots all over the front cabin. To top it all off, there's a small sunroof with a pull-out shade. You can pop it open for venting or pull it about 70% of the way back for a view to the sky. I can't decide if I like or dislike the interior design motif. It uses a black and navy combination with gold hexagon stitching and then charcoal plastic accents, plus there's also rugged black rubber on the handles. Now, each of these features is pretty cool on its own, but combining them all together feels a bit like going to the buffet and putting everything on your plate, kind of like the dog's breakfast. When I took the 4Runner to go camping, I was excited to see both the tow mode and the trailer brakes, and both a 6-pin light connector and a 3-pin option are already in place here.
With my current vehicle, I had to buy a third-party Bluetooth trailer braking system and controller, which is clunky and awkward to use. Here, the 4Runner is obviously made for trailers of all kinds, and when it was towing, it felt completely natural and like it was more than up for the challenge.
The vehicle can even recognize when it's towing something, and it'll give you the opportunity to switch into tow mode. While I don't think towing my little trailer was too much of a challenge for the 4Runner, as a newbie with trailers, I did appreciate the dedicated settings here. I would actually really love it if these mirrors could somehow extend out, if they had a motorized extension option. That would make it so much easier to back the trailer into the campsite and not have to worry about adding on extra mirrors. But as it is, that's a preference for me, and it didn't really impact my overall thinking about the Toyota 4Runner when it comes to towing, and that's that it's got things nailed. When it comes to the overall drive, the 2025 4Runner Hybrid is far more comfortable than I thought it would be.
The ride here is generally really smooth, but because this is a more rugged off-road vehicle, it can feel a little bumpy or jarring, especially in the city. You're also not getting a lot of the noise isolation that you might find in a more luxury vehicle, and while those are fine wishes, you're probably not buying the 4Runner because you're craving a luxury ride. You're getting it for the occasional off-road excursion, towing your camper, and maybe taking the brood to your local provincial park.
For me, the 2025 4Runner Hybrid is an extremely good balance of power and comfort.
The 4Runner is also far peppier than I thought it might be. It's got some pretty good getup, especially on the highway and especially when you put it in sport mode. Anytime I had to make any quick maneuvers or to pass, I was really confident in the 4Runner's ability to command the road. There's both adaptive cruise control in this vehicle and lane keeping assist. The adaptive cruise is handy because you can set your speed and the car is going to maintain that, whether it's going up a hill, which we are right now, or if you're pacing another vehicle, there's another vehicle in front of you, it'll adapt to that so you're always following at a safe distance. The lane keeping assist is another handy feature. With this one, it's not like hands-free driving. It's not as though the car is really going to drive and steer for you. And in fact, if you take your hands off the wheel for too long, the lane keeping assist is going to flash a warning at you in the heads-up display.
The 2025 Toyota 4Runner Hybrid features that large 14-inch touchscreen above the physical climate controls, and I really like the size and prominence of this myself, but husband Roger found it a little too much. The touchscreen and interface are pretty responsive, and they aren't overwhelming to me since the infotainment features mainly focus on music and connectivity with your smart device and navigation. All hybrid versions also feature JBL's 14-speaker audio system, complete with a removable portable Bluetooth speaker. This is a neat little Easter egg I've only seen before in the 2024 Rivian R1S. The sound system is outstanding, and it seems like it should have no business in a rugged off-road vehicle like this. It's well-balanced, finely tuned, with excellent bass and the capability to get mighty loud.
Now the rear seating here is a bit on the tighter side in terms of headroom and legroom, particularly if you have long-legged folks in the front. Now the headroom does get a little bit of help from a concave roof line, which probably explains why the sunroof isn't bigger. Now this is actually okay for me at about 5'9", but I think taller folks back here would feel pretty cramped.
But at least you're guaranteed those heated second row seats no matter which hybrid version you pick. There's also 2 more USB-C ports back here, as well as a DC power outlet. One of the cooler safety features is multi-terrain monitor. Accessible from your infotainment screen, it uses the built-in cameras in the vehicle to see all around you, which can help when you're driving off-road.
This is a pretty cool feature, and it actually works really well, particularly because the nose of this vehicle is quite tall, so it's a bit hard to see over it. This is a great thing to use if you're off-roading and you need to see what's happening around the vehicle. You can switch to the different camera angles, front, back, and sides, and of course you've got the overhead. For something like low stress city driving though, I did find that seeing these cameras pop up at every intersection when I'd stop could become a little bit distracting.
I'll have to admit I didn't look up the price before I started driving the 2025 4Runner Hybrid. I just let myself experience it for a few days before checking the details. In the Platinum trim model hybrid I'm driving here, the price is $76,019 Canadian. I have to say I was actually expecting this to cost a hell of a lot more. At this price point, I actually think you're getting an outstanding bargain.
Overall, I think the 2025 Toyota 4Runner Hybrid is an easy choice for new car buyers looking for a solid split between getting a rugged utilitarian off-road vehicle that feels like a tank when you need it versus one that's filled with school-run comforts. Let's go over both the pros and the cons so you can see if this vehicle might be right for you.
On the pro side, this truck is comfortable, it feels safe, and it's got plenty of toys and options. I like the big infotainment screen, and with its powerful motor, dedicated tow mode, and trailer brakes, it's ideal for outdoor types. I think there's lots of cargo space, and I don't mind just the 2 rows. I love the heated and cooled front seats and all the charging options. I love how the 4Runner drives. It's fast and surprisingly peppy. On the downside, I really had a hard time finding things I really didn't like about the vehicle. I suppose my biggest complaints are truly minor. The vents could be a bit better placed. I'd love extendable towing mirrors, and the interior design could maybe be simplified. Some folks may be disappointed in the fuel economy and feel the hybrid isn't bringing enough to the table, and fair ball. The fuel economy when towing is something that might give me pause about the 2025 4Runner, but from my limited research, it's not far off what other vehicles deliver on. If you feel differently, I'd love to hear in the comments. Overall here, for me, the pros far outweigh the cons.
I can definitely recommend the 2025 Toyota 4Runner for you. And you can get a look at a more luxury ride, like when I took out the Lexus TX 350, or see what that Rivian experience I mentioned earlier was like right now.